Hey, welcome to It's a Great Day for Business Atlanta. This is the Member Spotlight segment of our show. And during this segment, we spent a little extra time getting to know one of the members of It's a Great Day for Business Atlanta. And today we have the privilege of interviewing Rizzi of Drive for Research Foundation. We really appreciate you showing up on the beach.
I've got a question for you. It sounds like such a tall mountain to climb. Who is helping you with this wonderful drive that you're doing?
Well, I guess being a ram, as they say, that's what it takes, just to keep climbing and go through all the obstacles that you deal with. The organization is a very small organization for good reason, because the idea is that what we're doing is trying to create something that is going to really not only reach out, but also give the funds where it needs to go for research. Very important to be on the accelerated end of things. So it's a small organization involving my wife and a couple of key people around the country that are instrumental in helping, and then also some friends industry-wide that are very helpful as well, because we've teamed up with someone that was a former executive at Atlantic Records up in Europe, and they have a website, Classics du Jour, and we're co-promoting this together to reach out to classic rock radio stations, as we're doing here in Atlanta and Raleigh, and then intend to do that across the country. And then there's a radio trade reporter, which is the Friday morning quarterback, and Mike Parrish there is also another sponsor where we're reaching out to every radio station. So as soon as we get on that first radio station, people will then perk up and say, gee, we want to get involved and do this. So we're trying to make that first step.
So you want to get, the goal is all 50 states?
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. Well, why do you like doing business in the Metro Atlanta area?
Well, first of all, I live here, and I know a number of people here as well, and Emory is very important to me. I have some contacts at Emory, and there's a group of, we call ourselves the Ubiquitous Intelligence Group at the Emory Business School, when we get together and talk about ubiquitous things. And the irony is the Macarena was ubiquitous. So why on earth would you do that? Or why would you go to a mall, and do the Macarena, on a flash mob kind of thing? And so we get together and talk about this stuff. And so when I get involved, and when they hear from me, they're like, well, gee, Ron, what you're doing is rather ubiquitous too. And well, yeah, because we all drive a car every day. And when we drive the car every day, the last thing we think about would be to do something for brain tumor research. And that's what's really important here, because Gray Matters More Than You Think, which is actually another website of ours, graymattersmorethanyoutthink.org, that'll take you to the website and give you all the information. And so that's what's so pervasive about it. You have to reach thousands of people to try and find a small percentage. Susan G. Komen, for instance, 18,000 runners once a year here in Atlanta. There's 4 million people. There's 4 million cars. There's 2.5 million registered vehicles and drivers. Could you imagine if you took that percentage, which is 0.03%, and did the math, and they cared about brain tumor research? We'd make a significant.
What type of businesses are you looking for to help you with your endeavor?
Well, we're looking for corporate support, and it's not easy. Again, going back to climbing that mountain, I've contacted and talked to a number of different people in different organizations, but there are logical, what I would consider to be lifestyle businesses and products that would lend very well to this. And so what we're looking to do is have adjacencies, companies like the fuel oil company, gasoline company, advertise on the radio, and they're advertising their product. And then the idea would be is that in that adjacency would be the radio station's participation in raising money through pledging the miles that you drive when you drive your car. So it makes an awful lot of sense. It's just getting through to the right person. That's really what's really important.
And then can you tell us what percentage of the pledge actually goes to the research? Because that's important.
Well, when you do something like this, which is terribly complicated, you learn a lot of different things. I had taught business law for a year at Alfred High School a number of years ago, another one of my careers over my lifetime. And so in putting this together and making your 501c3 application and going through the formative piece, you either try and find a grant, which is very difficult, because in that arena they don't really understand what it is you're doing, because it's very innovative. It's never been done before. They're used to a race, a run, or a walk, or a pink ribbon. not an automobile drive and flashing your headlights, which is another thing that we want to do with radio stations, to send a visual message. And so the idea becomes, if you can't do the grant, then you have to go to people and constituents, and that's the idea. So by reaching out through the radio, and reaching out with a radio station, the funds that would be raised would come into the Drive for Research organization. And actually, in the first year, until we get to a point where we can actually create a budget, and this is a legal requirement, because again, we have attorneys and we have accountants that go over all this. The majority of the funds will go to Emory here in Atlanta, whether we do it in Macon and Athens as well. It'll stay in Georgia, because that's another thing that's very important to me. And then working in Raleigh would be the same scenario in North Carolina in that environment. As we go forward, obviously, because this is a business, and to try to take this, across the country, you either have to have some kind of general administrative budget to be able to hire people to make that work, and the goal there is something that we've derived from functioning and following GuideStar, which rates nonprofit organizations. So our goal would be to achieve an 18% expense ratio to 82% for program. So that would mean that that's all we would invest, in people and making this work and trying to attack the entire country to raise money.
Well, I would feel very good about pledging to an organization like yours, because it's nice to know that the money you're pledging is actually going to the research that needs to be addressed here.
How would people get in touch with you if they're interested in donating to your organization, finding out more?
Well, it's very simple. You can make the donation directly on the website. And as I mentioned, it goes through PayPal, so it's all electronically recorded, very, very easy to track for our accountants and our attorneys, which is very important. I can be found on LinkedIn, so if you go to linkedin.com/in/Ron Rizzi, I'm connected to nearly 10,200 people at this point. I've been there since the very beginning, so it's very, very, I'm very easy to find. If you Google me, you'll find an awful lot of information.
Right.
Very public that way.
Ron, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today, and I'd like to count you as a regular member of It's a Great Day for Business Atlanta, because you have so much to offer us. Can we?
Yeah, let's give a hand to our guest today. Ron Rizzi, thank you very much.